Hello everybody, my name is Joy and welcome back to The Deed. Now we took some rat poison and some love notes from our sister here. And now we're gonna see how we're gonna proceed. Now it is the time to quickly plant any items of evidence you have. To do so, simply enter the desired room and select the item in your inventory. Okay, so what I think of doing is the maid said she was gonna have tea in the living room, I believe, and that's where I can put the rat poison. And I can put the love notes somewhere where the maid would find them. When you're ready, enter the drawing room to do the deed. Drawing room. Where's that? Are you sure you want to enter the drawing room? No. Oh, that's where I planned on doing the deed. Okay, but maybe the tea is in the kitchen. Maybe I can put it in there. I suspect I could. Oh, the music is altered. The maid gives you an exasperated glance. Yes, okay, but please don't touch that. Could you leave? Okay, well, I'm not sure what to do that now. Is it possible to distract the maid in some way? Come on. Oh, no, this is the drawing room. Never mind. Joy seems to be busy sorting out through the items in the household cupboard. Okay. But your mother is listening to music. You know better than to disturb her. Okay. But what do I do now? I'm confused. Maybe? Let's see, where could I plant stuff? Can I talk to you? I don't have anything else to say to you, boy. Very well then. You old rot. Then you don't talk to me, that's fine with me. Can I put it in her room? Maybe I guess it would be better if she would die in her room. I don't remember seeing a bathroom. Oh wait. You don't have time to search your sister's wardrobe right now. What do we do? Ornate clocks are your sister's third love, right behind mirrors and cruelty. Well, fine, but... well, okay then. I'm not sure where I could place things. I mean, I've kind of been around the house trying to place the items, but... items... A bad love poem. Come hither, thou sweet and flame-haired maiden, let us play the games which have been forbidden, in dusty old rooms of which is home in which I live in. Come hither to me, and do my sweet bidding. You find yourself unable to continue reading this poem. You're pretty sure that forbidden isn't a word, and the rest doesn't really rhyme. Do you want to plant this item of evidence? Oh, in this room. No. No, not yet, but I want to plant it in the kitchen because she will probably find it, so... let's see. Items. Poem. Yes, I know. Yes. You decide to hide the item among the crockery in the kitchen. Not too well hidden, mind. Okay. Now what? Now where would I hide? Maybe I should put the rat poison in her room. Maybe she actually will use it to kill us. Oh, maybe I should have taken the glass shard. I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna go ahead and try and put the poison here. Okay, see? Items. Oh, weapons. Go back. Weapons. Rat poison. This is a weapon, not a piece of evidence. You may need it. Oh, okay, maybe I can give her in the tea. Sure. Okay. So I think now I should be ready. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. I'm not entirely sure to do it. You see Jennifer staring out the window ahead of you, lost in one of her strange moods. She hasn't noticed you enter the drawing room. Now is the time. Items, weapons, rat poison. Choose the murder weapon. Rat poison. The silent weapon of an intelligent killer. Sprinkled over the cakes on the table, it could easily be mistaken for a frosting of sugar. Having added a generous portion of your special topping to the cakes, she stepped back into the shadows and watched to make sure she eats them. Sure enough, she soon turns to the plate and devours 2 of them in quick succession. The poison works surprisingly quickly. She begins to choke and her skin turns green. Finally, she falls to the ground in front of you. You examine her body to make sure she isn't breathing before placing the container of poison on her desk. The deed is done. It's time to leave the room before someone discovers it. Oh, get out. Okay, going to Mama. Your mother's listening to music. Oh god, where do I go? Oh, okay, I should find myself a place. This is my old room, right? No, this is my parents' room. Get to your own room, please, before anybody sees. No, get to your own room. Thank you. Okay, now we simply wait. It sounds like my deed has been discovered. What's going on? What happened? Why are you screaming? Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Inspector Winston Lewis. I understand that this is a difficult time for your family. You're damn right it is. I want to know what you're doing wasting time in here when my daughter's killer is still out there. Well, Mr. Bruce, we have found no evidence of forced entry and nobody was seen entering or leaving the house. It would seem entirely possible that the killer is in this room. What? No. That seems highly unlikely, Inspector. Perhaps it is, however. In order to follow protocol, we have to interview each of you in turn. Mrs. Bruce, would you like to meet me in the library first? I suppose so. Okay. Maybe I can frame the maid because she wanted to kill her because of the love poem, the interview. Thank you for joining me here, Mr. Bruce. I'm sure this won't take long. Before we begin, I will need to search your person. Best to get these formalities out of the way? Is it really necessary? I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that's out of the way, let's move on to the interview. As you know, I have already spoken to everyone else who was present in the house at the time of your sister's death. We have also now completed our initial research of the house, but we'll get to that later. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? First of all, we will run through all of your activities since your arrival. The maid says that you and the butler arrived shortly after 7 o'clock and she greeted you at the door. She said that you mentioned during your conversation that you are not on good terms for your family. It's no secret that I detest my family. I meant that my family doesn't like me very much. What I really meant to say is that my family is not on good terms with me. It's been that way since I chose to leave the family home. Ah, of course, I understand. The maid says that you made a rather inappropriate remark of a sexual nature towards her. This leads me to question your character, I'm afraid. What? It was only intended as a harmless joke. Of course I did. Have you seen the maid? Oh god, I can either make myself just look like a natural asshole, because it doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove that I did anything. It was only intended as a harmless joke. That's what I said to the butler, to whom I apologized. It was intended purely as a light-hearted joke. In retrospect, it may have been inappropriate. Yes, it is entirely possible to misjudge these situations, isn't it? It's worth noting that the butler has also commented on your inappropriate behavior towards the maid. Later, you went to speak with the maid again, which is curious. Why did you decide to visit the kitchen? To make sure my family was treating her well, to see when dinner would be ready, to make sure if my family was treating her well. I asked her about that. I mean, I'm really thinking maybe it would be smart to go with this route. I had some concerns about the way she was being treated. My family can be hard on the new staff sometimes. That seems like a good reason. I understand the two of you spoke about your father and his temper. I had some concern, but she set my mind at ease. It was a personal conversation. Yes, I wanted to be sure she wasn't abusing her. What should I say? I had some concerns, but she set my mind at ease. That would not be very credible, considering my dad is a major dick. I wanted to make sure he wasn't abusing her. My father has a vicious temper. I wanted to make sure he wasn't making her life miserable. I see. Has he always had a temper? Yes, always. Later on you had a conversation with your mother, Gloria, in the parlor. She told me that you were unusually cordial, something about wanting to apologize and make amends. I just wanted to avoid another argument that was a private conversation. I was being sincere. I just wanted to avoid another argument. I was being sincere. I was being sincere. Yes, I wanted to clear the air between myself and my family. I see. Do you think it is slightly suspicious that you suddenly wanted to reconcile after all this time? No, I don't think so. Very well then. She says you spoke briefly about your sister. Apparently you seem to be quite concerned about her well-being. Actually, I wasn't especially concerned. I was more worried about my mother's mental state. We were worried about my sister might attempt suicide. That's what they did talk about. My mother and I were concerned that my sister might try to take her own life, as she had attempted once before. She had she? I will take a note of that. You went to see your father in the library. I understand your conversation became quite heated. My father has always had a temper, of course he did. My father is an irritating man. Actually, I thought the conversation was civil. He was an irritating man. My father is impossible. Our conversations often become heated. I see. It caused you to lose your temper then. No, it didn't. You discussed the prospect of moving back to Danshu. You said you would only move back if your sister was placed into psychiatric care. Yes, I wanted her gone from this house. I never suggested psychiatric care. For her own well-being, of course. That's kind of suspicious, though. I'll be honest. Of course, given our relationship, I wasn't going to move back in here while she was still here. I see, so you had a reason to want her gone. I knew you would say that, but it doesn't prove shit. That doesn't mean I killed her. Of course not, Mr. Bruce, of course not. Let's discuss your conversation with the butler. As I understand it, he confronted you about your earlier behavior with the maid. You apologized for your actions, correct? Yes, I was sorry about my behavior. Of course, my behavior was inappropriate. Indeed, it was good of you to apologize, though. Did you speak to your sister before dinner? Yes, I did. I went to her room to see her. And what did you discuss with her? We discussed her illness and obsessions, nothing at all. She insulted me and I left. I would rather not say. She insulted me and I left. It was as brief as most conversation as I've had with my sister. She called me a rat, and not wanting to be insulted further, I soon left the room. Did that make you angry? To be honest, I was used to it from her. Let's move into the events that took place during dinner. I understand there was an argument involving the butler. You felt he was being treated unfairly. My family always treat the servants poorly. I was just trying to stir things up, really. No, that never happened. No, I was not trying to stir things up. I was trying to prove to my mom that I was not a dick. Someone has to stand up for the servants around here. My family treats them like dirt. Indeed, it was good of you to do so, Mr. Bruce. At one point you made the accusation that the maid and your sister were in some kind of inappropriate relationship. I'm almost certain they were. I was just trying to stir up some drama. I never accused them of anything. I'm almost certain they were. It seems obvious enough to me the way those two were carrying on. My parents are just oblivious to it. You believe your sister was in a lesbian relationship with the maid? Almost certainly. Interesting. Well, I don't know. Maybe I thought the sister was just kind of obsessed with the maid. Now, I need to ascertain your location at the time of your sister's death. Where were you when you heard the maid scream? I was upstairs. The landing? My old bedroom. I was in the guest bedroom. I see, thank you. As I said earlier, we have completed our initial search of the property. We found a poem written by your sister which appears to clearly express romantic feelings towards the maid. Given that we found it in the kitchen, we can assume that the maid had read it. Perhaps it is proof that the two of them were involved in a secret relationship. That would make her a suspect, wouldn't it? I will certainly have more questions for her at least. I'm curious about the murder weapon. The poison had apparently been sprinkled upon some cakes which the maid had prepared. However, you also must have passed through the pantry in order to speak to the maid in the kitchen. Of course, your sister may have done this herself if it was a suicide. It is all very interesting. I will be completely honest with you now, Mr. Bruce. Your behavior this evening has given me cause for suspicion. Why? While there is some suspicion regarding your father, I don't currently regard him as a serious suspect, but I feel quite certain that the maid isn't telling me something. The possibility of suicide must be considered, though I am personally unconvinced. Now, as for what happens next, I'm going to ask you to accompany to the station for further questioning. Am I under arrest? Not currently, Mr. Bruce, unless you want it that way. Next, I'm going to have to arrest the maid. It is possible that an inquest might return a verdict of suicide. We'll see. Okay then, that went somewhat well, I think. I actually didn't mean to frame the maid, but though you were brought in for further questioning, the police determined that there was not enough evidence to arrest you. Sophia, the maid, as the only one to be arrested, remained the prime suspect. After a long and difficult trial, she was finally convicted of the murder of your sister in a very controversial verdict. The case caused quite a scandal in the national media, and Sophia gained a lot of unwanted celebrity in the process. She became known in the public imagination as the killer chambermaid. Ah, now I feel bad. With no other heirs remaining, your father preserved his plans to cut you out of his will. When your parents died, you inherited everything. Denshill House was yours, along with the fortune that came with it. However, George the butler found himself unable to continue serving the place after what had happened. As you spent many long sleepless nights wandering through the rooms of the house, you found that its emptiness was reflected within yourself. You had become hollow inside, free of everything but the nightmares that continued to haunt you. That's it? Really? Okay then. Alright, that was The Deed. I expected this to be a way longer game, but I love it. I bet there's a lot more ways to go about this, so I'm gonna experiment with that a little bit in the next episode of this game. I'm liking it. I'm liking this type of games where you can experiment with stuff. Like really, I'm wondering if maybe I could do something with the undergarments and make someone else suspicious, because I feel kind of bad for framing the maid. She seemed like the actual only decent person in the house, so perhaps I can frame someone else, or perhaps I can make it look like a suicide. God, this game really brings out the devil in me. But that's alright, that's what games are for. It's all fantasy, it's not real. I would never actually frame my mental sister. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will leave a bunch of links down in the description. You can find this game on Steam as well. And I'm gonna thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!